Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Welcome to the Sunday chat. Various things that I shall wander around aimlessly like I normally do. I do have a list behind me to go over, and yeah, that's probably, well, in my book, one of the most important things. We've got a new member on YouTube, so thanks to Yaron Rossilio, I think that might be pronounced, but thanks for joining us, and while I'm at it, thanks for everybody else who's a member for staying with us. It's appreciated. Now that's going to fall over just because I touched it. There we go. Lean in there for now till I sort out why it decided to suddenly fall over. Right, so that's that. Video types. I do quite a few different types. I do repotting, occasional mounting. Sometimes a repot will involve dividing, ending up with several plants. Nowadays, often when you buy a plant you get two, even though you didn't expect to. What else do I do? I do an occasional spotlight video. I had a recent one of those. I do chatty ones like today's Sunday chat. We do occasional videos about a genus, all the plants I've got in a genus. We do one shelf at a time, which when I'm moving plants around, they don't stay in the same place necessarily for too long. Obviously that's random, it can be whatever orchids are on that shelf, as that type of thing. Occasionally I'll do one talking about feed, that sort of stuff. Sometimes we do one about kit. Now, YouTube keeps records of everything, which I can see, you can't. You can see some very basic information about each video if you scroll down all of my videos historically. But I get a bit more detail about them, so I know which types of videos are the most popular. Now I'm going to exclude one type, which is based on human nature, and that type is when the title sounds a bit doom and gloom. That will get masses of views, irrespective of what it's about. Something about human nature, love to hear about things that have gone wrong, or that sort of thing anyway. But yeah, I only do those when it is true. I don't make them up. I'm sure some blinking channels do. You can't have that much bad luck, it's not possible. But I get things go wrong now and again, and depending on what it is, I might actually let you know about it. And more importantly, what I'm going to do about it. We do some of those. So that doesn't mean I would exclude a video type because it doesn't necessarily get high view counts. I like to think the variety is there, and in part that's why people are here. So by excluding a couple of types of videos because they perhaps get lower views, that might exclude some people because that was the ones they were here for. So I'm not going to change anything like that, but it was interesting. I spent some time actually looking into that. And certain types of videos don't get many views. The sort of thing I could imagine might put people off is if I did a chat and a look at and a care guide for a certain genus. Well, you're going to have, depending on which one, you're going to have a lot of people who don't grow that and have no interest in it. Well, they might not watch then. That's understandable, So I'm not changing anything, I'm just sort of saying that this video, the Sunday chat, gets the most views, apart from an odd one now and again that steamrollers up above this one. But I can't do much, I can't do this one every day, can I? I have to think of a new name. It wouldn't be the Sunday chat anymore, would it? Duh. Anyway, obviously the big event that's happened days ago was the big fella came across the pond and was entertained by our king and our dopey Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister is doing some good stuff on the world stage. What he does for this country is a pile of doggy-doo, because he's not helping us at all. He seems more interested in helping minorities and people coming across in boats illegally. They're far more important than just the ordinary people. But, well, he was voted in. As they say, be careful what you vote for. I don't think he's going to be there too much longer. We shall see. The trouble is, some of his ideas and some of the things this new government are doing are actually good ideas, but they're not working. And a lot of that is because they're going to take quite a lot of time to work, and people are impatient. When you go out the shop and you get to the till and you can't afford what you've just got, which are your essentials for the week, and you have to put something back. I can't afford that. I'll have to put that back. We'll have to do without cornflakes this week or whatever. It's not funny, and there's a lot of people in that boat. Those that aren't, be grateful. Yes, we'll steer away, because we could go down a rabbit hole. But anyway, the big fella was entertained. He had lots of pomp and ceremony behind brick walls so that nobody else could see him. I wonder if that was planned. Keep him away from the people. Anyway, that's what happened. I watched a fair bit of it. I spent quite a long time waiting for the red arrows fly past and then turned it off. Tell what I'm interested in. Anyway, right, back to the reality of orchids and stuff and related issues. Excuse me, but I'm a bit low on the coffees today. I might need to go and get another one halfway through this. Things that are relevant. I spoke to a friend this morning about, she grows peonies the same as I now do. They're new to me, they're not as new to her. She's had some a bit longer than that. I just wanted to know, are hers starting to head towards dormancy yet? When it's your first year and you've got a plant that goes totally dormant for the winter, and you've got perhaps one that's got a leaf that looks like it's dying, is it dying or is it heading for dormancy and dropping its leaves naturally? And she said in the main hers are still growing, but she's got hers outside, which leads nicely into the next subject. She said mine are outside, and last night it got down to 7 degrees C. The cold nights will certainly speed up their heading for dormancy, but she said in the main they're not doing it yet. Now, I got down here this morning, the heater was cutting in and out as I was doing my stuff, doing my comments and things. I thought, oh, it's colder today. Trouble is, when I first come down, I've got my big dressing gown on that's like a big giant fleece, and I'm all warm and toasty. And I had a look at the temperature. The kitchen was down to 17, and out here the heater was cutting in and out, so you know it was around the 12 degrees. So it was cold, and we are now in for a cold spell. The next, it seems, a week or so, the rain's going to head off and become more of a memory, because we've had a lot, good, and we're going to get some sunshine and some bright days and some early morning mist and stuff like that, and it's going to be much colder. So the night tonight going down into Monday morning is expected in this area to actually go down to 7 or 8 degrees. Now, although my friend said 7 degrees, she's probably 40, maybe even 50 miles farther north. And like I've said, we've got a microclimate along this south coast, this bit, and it's always a couple of degrees warmer than everywhere else, and sometimes even more. And also the cold air that came down from the north last night didn't get to the south coast. It hadn't got that far yet. So it certainly wasn't as cold. But it's jumper time. When I went up to get dressed and took my warm fleecy dressing gown on and put my normal daytime clothes on, I thought, God, it's a bit nippy in here. I nearly put the heating on. Not quite. Not yet. I might do though. It might come to that during the week. But we've got serious changes in day lengths, and At times, daylight quality will be questionable as well. When you get those dull, miserable days and everything, the quality of the light is poor, and with the day lengths getting shorter and shorter, there's not much of it. So your plants are going to slow down. Now, if you've got plants growing in windowsills and things like that, they will already probably be reacting to the shorter days, because they get less light than somewhere like this that's got glass all around them, basically. So yeah, you've got the day lengths and the temperatures and the light levels are going to affect everything, and I will start getting more of an effect in here as the weeks progress. We're at the maximum change shortening of the day lengths now. I think it's the autumn equinox, either today or tomorrow, something like that. Not quite sure what that actually means, but the rate of change is at its highest. It's 3 minutes and 48 seconds, and it's a week or so before it drops to 47 seconds, and then gradually the rate of change will slow up. But that makes a lot of a lot of difference to the growing. I'm not doing lights. I can't really afford it, and when you've got stacked shelves, vertical shelves, it's difficult to light them, because you'd have to have lights on the bottom of every shelf. Yeah, and to just put the light on the top shelf, well, what about the others then? It's not worth it. So it's not worth thinking about. We're going to have a cold spell. I might have to think about my Deesers and actually bringing them in overnight. Now I don't have to bring them in like as it gets dark. I could bring them in at bedtime, yeah, because the temperature's not going to drop down that much in the first part of the night. It's more like the small hours towards dawn. That's when it's at its coldest. So I could just pop them inside, but they're happy down to 5, 6, 7 degrees, so I think they might be able to survive this initial cold spell. I don't know how long it's going to go on for, but I should always watch the weather forecast. I do that anyway. The first threat of a possible frost, they will come in, even though they probably survive it. So they've been having their tray of water refreshed by rain overflowing, and so I haven't done a water change for some time, but I will do a water change probably tomorrow, as I won't be doing any filming tomorrow as such. And what I will probably do with the feed tomorrow, because obviously with the rain and that they've had no feed at all, is I've actually got some Tomarite, a tomato based feed, which is a low nitrogen, higher P value, and it's good at taking things into winter and hardening them up a bit. Just the balance of the N and the P are virtually reversed, basically. And I could put a very low dose of that in their feed this time, because they don't need the nitrogen, although they are growing at long last. Yeah. Right. I wanted to mention that I did a relatively quick video for the other channel yesterday or the day before. What was yesterday? Saturday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. So there's a video on my other channel, mainly a look around the garden, look at what's still left in bloom, which is getting thinner on the ground all the time, and a chat about a little bit of work I'll be doing on a couple of bonsai. And that video, although it's already on the other channel, I will post that on this channel tomorrow, because I won't have an orchid video tomorrow. I don't film on Mondays, although occasionally I film on Mondays but don't post. Yeah, depends what I'm up to. So there is a video on the other channel if you hadn't seen it and didn't know. Right, while we're talking about the two channels, I managed to find hype on, I have to use my phone, it's not available on laptops and personal computers. It'll probably never be available on TVs, because to access it you swipe the comments. Well, you can't swipe anything on a TV, can you? So, but if you have whatever it's called, where you can send your phone signal direct to the TV through a little gadget. Then you've got a keyboard, then you can do all those sorts of things even though you've got the nice big screen. Sorry, that wasn't big enough, you know, the nice big screen, half a wall. Yes, I managed to find it, and I'd like to push it seriously. Now that I've seen how it works, it's important. I mean, I hyped one of my own videos firstly to find out if I could. Yeah, you're allowed to do that. You can't hype one of your own videos on your own channel, but because I've got two, effectively I can. I can go onto my gardening channel and hype one of my orchid videos. Or from my orchid channel I could hype one of my gardening videos. But you can't hype your own channel, so you can't hype your own videos unless, like me, you've got more than one channel. So I've used it, and obviously I've used it for one of the channels that I watch, just to sort of get used to how it works. But the important thing that I notice is the points. The actual number of points can be quite different depending on the channel that the video is on. And that, I am told, is dependent on the number of subscribers that channel has got. The more subscribers the channel's got, the less points a hype will produce. The lower the subscribers, the bigger the points value. And I've seen that in action, because obviously my gardening channel's got far less subscribers. lots less subscribers than here. So I've seen it in action, I've seen what it does, and I would like people, I'm beginning to think it's even more important than the thumbs up, although it's more fiddly to do, but it isn't really. If you're on your phone anyway and you're watching the video, unless you flick to full screen, in which case your phone's around sideways, and everything else is then excluded, but you'd have to go back to where the video's at the top of the screen and the bits are underneath. And under normal circumstances, underneath the video watching is the comments bar, where you click to type your comment. You just swipe that and there's the hype, ready to go. You just do it. And then you get to see the number of points that you're going to add to that video's total. It's important. Very important, because the number of points a video's got helps YouTube decide the placement in the list of recommended videos to everybody else. Yeah? It's important. So I would like all of you to seriously think about getting into a habit of doing that. Now, it doesn't only, I'm not demanding that you do it for my channel, although I would like to think you would, but for the channels you watch regular, providing they meet the criteria, then you ought to get into the habit, like with the thumbs up. I mean, if I watch a video, I tend to do the thumbs up when the video starts, and it's got to be pretty bad for me to take it off again. So I just do that as a habit. I've been doing it for years. And I will now get into the habit of using the hype. It's important to help, promote channels and videos, combination of the two. It is important, so I'd like you all to consider doing it. If you haven't even thought about it yet, as far as I can make out, where you see the comments bar, so where you would tap to be able to start typing your comment, you swipe it. And then up comes the hype option and you see the points. And once you've hyped a video, you get to see the leaderboard. Now, I don't ever expect to be on the leaderboard. This is the top 10 videos with the highest number of hype points at that point in time. I don't see me ever getting on there somehow. Bearing in mind the criteria to hype is that you've got less than 500,000 subscribers. YouTube seem to think that's quite a small channel. Dream on. So I don't ever expect to get on the leaderboard. And I had a quick look at the leaderboard and I'd never heard of any of those channels. So, but please have a think at getting into the habit of you can use your hype. I think you're allowed 3 a week, and I think it resets on Sunday. So you can't do it all over the blinking place and go mad. There is a limit on how many you can do over a week, and I'm pretty sure it's 3 and it resets on Sunday. That will be Sunday US day change, which obviously is grossly different to here, or grossly different to Australia. The day changes from one day to the next at midnight in totally different time zones. So it'll be US time zone when it changes over. So anyway, but give it a go. Go and have a play. And you can hype the same video 3 times. You can hype 3 different ones. If you hype the same video 3 times, you're promoting that video quite excessively and helping that channel and that video get promoted. If you spread it amongst 3 different channels, you're helping to support 3 channels and 3 individual videos. The video must have been posted in the last 7 days. So you can't go hyping old ones. The idea is that you push newly posted videos to get more views on them. That's the whole idea of the principle. Anyway, so have a good think about getting into the habit of using your 3 hypes each week. How you use them is your choice, but I would suggest that we don't waste them, all of us. Don't waste them. We all use YouTube for a form of entertainment and or information. Yeah? Well, don't waste your hypes. Push them back in. So that's that. Here endeth the lesson and the plead. I'm good at pleading. I'm a good pleader. Coffee's getting cold. Oh, hello. Who's awake? What? You going out? Come on then. Let you out. You've been asleep most of the morning. Come on then. I doubt if the sun was out and he could get in his sunny spots out of the wind, then he might stay out there. But I don't think he's going to be spending time outside now the temperatures are dropping right down. He likes to be warm, that's why he likes his fleecy blanket, because it's cosy. That's what's woken him up. The sun's just come out and he was in the sun on his blanket through the glass. That overheats him a bit. I'm going to start pushing him out of that seat and sit there myself, especially on these cold days. The sun's really warm coming in through that glass. It's the only downstairs window that faces the sun. All my other windows downstairs, well, there's only 2. This one, which isn't really a window, and the kitchen. That side of the house has got no windows. This side of the house is next door's wall, so it's a joined house. The windows that get the best sun are upstairs. That's the bathroom, the landing, and the spare bedroom, the music room as such. We might be having a session in the music room coming soon. I'm plucking up the sort of get up and go to get up there and have a go. I haven't got there yet. I nearly did it yesterday, and then I found a couple of other things to do, and that's what keeps happening. I didn't have those things to do, I found them so that I put myself off doing that. Terrible really. Right, stuff coming up next. We got the Bournemouth Orchid Society show this coming Saturday. Now, I can't film there, but now that I've got friends again with the problem I had with that society, the individual in question, that's all water under the bridge now and gone and forgotten, but I'm still dubious about getting my video camera out, because the problem was getting people in the video and then onto YouTube when they might have their shirts on with the logo identifying the Orchid Society, and then putting it on YouTube, one, without their permission, and two, my views could then be misconstrued as the views of the Orchid Society. So they were valid points, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it, but I don't see anybody would object to me taking some stills on my phone like Hannah normally does, and then she emails them to me and I use them. Well, providing I keep my phone low and stick to close-ups, I'm going to try it and see if anybody says anything. If somebody comes up and says, I'd rather you, because of your YouTube channel, don't record anything at our show, then I'll just stop. But I'm going to give it a go. I think it will be okay, as it's my phone. I could be videoing on my phone, couldn't I? Who would know? But I won't be. I'll be taking some stills of the nicer blooms, some nice close-ups. That's the plan. Because Hannah's not with me. She's not down this coming weekend, so I'm going to the show on my own. I mean, others will be there. Hopefully Lynn will be there. Hopefully Alan and Sue will be there if Alan's well enough. I haven't heard any bad news, and when somebody's ill and they've been in hospital, no news is good news, because if something bad happens you'll get to hear, won't you? So hopefully he's home and everything's sort of getting better now. So that's that. This coming Sunday is the last Sunday of the month, so on the Sunday morning I'll be going to the Wessex Bonsai Society. I'm probably taking 1 or 2 trees in and doing some work, which means that the Sunday chat is not cancelled or anything like that. I'll just be filming it after I get back in the afternoon, which means by the time I've processed it, it gets posted late. But that's late UK time. That's just getting out of bed in the States, especially on the far side of the States, the West. So yeah, you know, some people will be going to bed, some people are just getting up. But in UK time, I'll be posting it much later in the day than I normally do. So that's that. Another thing that affects me hardly at all, with my previous neighbours next door, the news that they're going on holiday for a fortnight, I'd have done a little jig. I'd have done a little rain dance in the garden, round and round in circles. No, I'm not demonstrating. But these neighbours going on holiday for a fortnight, I won't know they're gone because I don't know they're there. They are just so quiet. I don't get all the thumping up and down the stairs, I don't get the blaring music and the shouting, and I hardly know they're there. The only time I know they're there really is when they come out and start the car up and go out through the gates. And we had a gate saga during the week as well. They stopped flipping working. They half worked and it was a right pain. Still don't know what went wrong, but the way they got fixed was in next door is the mains power source and it's got a switch on it. So basically I can't do anything about this if there's a problem and they're not here, because obviously I can't get in next door. But basically they turned the mains off, so they shut the whole system down, waited a while and turned it back on, and it all reset itself and it's been fine ever since. We still don't know why they went wrong in the first place. So yeah, from next Sunday they're on holiday for a fortnight. So as I say, the only real difference will be I'll have to do the bins myself, because we sort of take it in turns. It's not a rota, but normally it's whoever thinks of it and is around, you know. So and the lady next door has stopped working now, so she's around all the time. So yeah, they weren't very accommodating to do the to and from school with the kids and stuff like that. So and her husband does long hours, obviously gets paid well as well in his job, and he's putting in so much time and everything like that, he couldn't have any involvement with dealing with the kids in the school, so she's had to pack in work. Some companies are like that, but it's a bit naughty, but you know, they don't employ people for fun, they employ people for their business needs. And if somebody is an employee who isn't really contributing as much as somebody else could, then that one will have to go. So be it, you know. Right, as far as the orchids are concerned, we did a spotlight on this thing behind me, this one. And again, talking about types of orchids, that didn't get a huge number of views, a spotlight, but then it was on a cotyledony. So a lot of people might have started watching that and thought, oh, I can't grow them, out, you know. Whereas if it had been Phalaenopsis, people might have stayed for the whole thing. That is a variable that I have to take on board. And I can't do the most popular video types all the time, because then I'd lose my variety. And I think the variety is quite important. It's something you don't tend to get as much of on some of the other orchid channels. There we go. Was that screechy kid off again? Well, he's having fun, I suppose. Just makes me wonder why his parents don't just tone the noise down a little bit for the sake of everybody else. But you know, some people just don't think about noise. If you're a noisier person yourself, then there's no real thing as excessive noise, is there? It's normal noise to you, whereas to others it could be excessive noise. But kids playing, that's how it is, you know. But this one is a little bit exceptional, and he plays on his own. He never has any friends around or anything. He bounces around on that trampoline with his life-size dummy doing his wrestling thing that he's into, and the shouting and everything is the things the referee would say. And you've got these what are they called? At the start of an event in some sports, not all, thank goodness, they've got it in darts, they've got it in snooker, and they've definitely got it in wrestling, where somebody stands and goes, and so-and-so, the champion of the world! Dork. Absolute ticket. But it's become part of it. They're doing it in snooker now. The two players get announced like that, and they come down the stairs and touch people with their hands as they go past, and they have special music playing. You don't have that in tennis. Don't have that in badminton. Don't have that in squash. Don't have it in athletics. I've been watching quite a bit of the athletics. It's the World Cup or something or other's going on at the moment. Been watching quite a bit of that, so I enjoy that, even though I can't do it anymore. Yeah, so as I say, I can't do all the popular videos all the time, and I still want to include those that are not necessarily as popular, because to the ones that watch them, they are. And if I don't do them, I'm excluding some people, and I want the channel to be inclusive, not exclusive. So that's the way we work. And I did have a joke, but I've forgotten it. I should have written it down, shouldn't I? Because it made me laugh out loud, and that takes a bit of doing. I smirk when I hear a good joke, so one that actually makes me laugh, should have written it down, shouldn't I? I'll think of it just after I finish the video. But I'm now going to do some magic. Now that's something that, honestly, there's no such thing, is there? It's sleight of hand and trickery and jiggery-pokery. There's no such thing as magic. But I'm going to show you how to make a YouTube orchid grower totally disappear. And I'll say thanks for dropping by before I do it. You have to wait. Be patient. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for being members in the YouTube channel and the Patreon site on the regular financial support. Thanks for all of that. Thanks for the thumbs up. And I'll have to start saying now, and thanks for those who've hyped a video for me. Thank you very much. That's a new thing. So we'll have that. And now we will make a YouTube grower totally disappear. just to make the point how big this flipping thing is. I've got a job to hold this. This is nearly too heavy. I'm almost going to drop it. It's certainly the biggest thing in the grow room with the most number of spikes. It's absolutely superb. So there you go. I've totally disappeared. See you next time. Bye for now.